The purpose of this presentation is to share information regarding the upcoming changes in payroll processing for IHSS providers. California's IHSS programs will soon be using a new computer system, CMIPS II. CMIPS stands for Case Management Information and Payrolling System. IHSS providers will receive new CMIPS II timesheets when Marin County processes the last pay period using the old payroll system. What does CMIPS II mean to IHSS providers? For IHSS providers, this means new timesheets with new rules on how to fill them out, a new timesheet processing system, and finally, because the timesheets will be processed by computer scanners in a new facility in Chico, California, possible delays in receiving paychecks may occur. Here is an example of the front of the new CMIPS timesheet. Notice that there are 3 parts. Part 1. The top section has San Francisco County Social Services and the address. Please keep in mind that this is a timesheet example only. Your actual timesheet will have the Marin County IHSS address listed in this section. Notice the example of how to record time on the top right side of the page. Part 2 is the instructions. Here you will find important instructions on how to complete this timesheet correctly. Part 3 is the provider information. This is the most important part of the timesheet. Part 3 shows the provider number, provider name, recipient case number, recipient name, and how many hours and minutes are worked. Once completed, the recipient cuts this part along the dotted line, removes it from the rest of the timesheet, and puts it into an envelope to be mailed. This is the back of the CMIPS II timesheet. There are 2 parts to the back of the timesheet. Part 1 is the instructions. Important instructions translated into Spanish, Armenian, and Chinese are in this section. Part 2 is the provider's declaration. The recipient and provider are required to sign and date the timesheet in the boxes at the bottom of the page, which verifies that true and correct information is being submitted. So what's new about the timesheets, you ask? The way the hours are actually worked is reported. With the old way, the time worked had to be converted into decimals and reported on the timesheet that way. With the new way shown on this line, time worked is recorded in hours and minutes. Also, the direction in which days are marked have changed. With the old way, the time worked was marked on the timesheet horizontally. With the new way, time worked is marked on the timesheet vertically. Take a look at the example for the 5th of the month. It shows 10 hours worked. The way a provider reports a change of address has changed as well. With the old system, you simply made note of your new address on the back of the timesheet. This will not work with the new timesheets. To report a change of address, providers will need to complete an SOC 840 form and mail it to Marin County IHSS at 10 North San Pedro Road, San Rafael, California, 94903. How can you get a change of address SOC 840 form? There are 3 ways. IHSS providers can call 415-457-INFO, which is 4636, to request a form, or visit the websites below and download form SOC 840. Marin County Health and Human Services IHSS page, IHSS Public Authority of Marin, or SEIU UHW for Marin County. So what is new about the timesheet process? In the old way of doing things, timesheets were processed by Marin County IHSS program staff. Now, with the new way of doing things, computer scanners will process all new timesheets in a state-of-the-art facility in Chico, California. So what is new about the timesheet process? All CMIPS II timesheets must be mailed to the timesheet processing facility in Chico, California. So instead of mailing the timesheet to Marin County IHSS in San Rafael, you will now mail all new timesheets to the timesheet processing facility in Chico. The biggest change in the new system is that a computer, not a person, will read your timesheet. Remember, computers cannot read timesheets like people can. Computers will reject timesheets it can't read, so IHSS providers must fill out new timesheets very carefully to avoid payment delays. So what happens to the timesheets the computer can't recognize? Timesheets the computer can't recognize are sent to Marin County IHSS payroll staff to analyze the problem. The Marin County IHSS payroll staff will attempt to process the timesheet. However, if they are not able to process the timesheet, the Marin County IHSS staff may contact the IHSS provider to help correct the problem. Sometimes this will mean that the provider will have to complete a new timesheet and mail it to Chico. So how long will it take to get paid? Once timesheets are received by the Chico facility, paychecks are issued out within 10 working days. Paychecks will continue to be mailed from Sacramento, so please allow 2 to 3 additional days for mailing time. Why will it take longer to receive payment using the new system? Well, there are a few reasons you need to know. First, once the system changes, Marin County IHSS staff will be unable to process timesheets for up to 3 days. Second, timesheets are now to be mailed to the Chico facility instead of Marin County IHSS in San Rafael. Finally, if the computer is unable to recognize a timesheet, it is rejected and sent to the Marin County IHSS for further processing. Have questions about timesheets or paychecks? Call the Marin County IHSS Payroll Help Desk at 415-457-INFO. If you need help completing your timesheet, please call IHSS Public Authority of Marin at 415-499-1024 or the IHSS Provider Union at 1-866-554-3120. To prevent delays, you can get direct deposit. That way, you won't have to wait for the mail. If you are interested in direct deposit, call 1-866-376-7066. Do not mail your timesheet to the Chico facility until you have completed all of the work for the pay period, otherwise it will be rejected. Be careful avoiding making common mistakes when filling out the timesheet, as timesheets with errors will be rejected. This slide shows the correct way to fill out the new timesheet. Use black ink, write only single digits in a box, only fill out boxes for days you've worked, and finally, use hours and minutes instead of converting time to decimals. Timesheets must be completed right side up with the provider number box on the top, as shown on this slide. Both the provider and the recipient must sign and date the back side of the timesheet. Leave the total number of hours at the bottom of your timesheet blank. The computer scanner in Chico will automatically add it up. Please note that the computer will not process timesheets with attached pay stubs. Always remember to detach the timesheet before putting it into the envelope. Once again, the computer will not process timesheets with attached pay stubs. We've seen the right way to complete a timesheet. Now let's review some examples of timesheets completed the wrong way. Notice the box on the left. Do not put 2 digits in the same box. Remember to only write 1 digit per box. Do not write in the boxes on days that you did not work. Do not add X's, lines, or zeros. Remember, do not put fractions in the box. We no longer use fractions or decimals. Do not write outside the boxes. It will confuse the scanner. Do not write sideways in the boxes. Do not fill out boxes with decimals, and do not fill out numbers upside down. Do not write things other than numbers in the boxes, no letters. Remember, do not write over the barcode, or write over your mistakes, or use whiteout. If you make a really bad mistake, you will have to request a new timesheet. Notes or other attachments to the timesheet, as this jams up the scanner. Do not use pencil, red ink, gel pens, or glitter pens. The scanner cannot read them. Finally, do not fold the timesheet, as it can get caught in the scanner. Here are some important points to remember. Remember that timesheets are now processed by a computer. The computer needs to be able to read the numbers on your timesheet. Remember, the total hours box does not need to be filled in. And finally, remember that both the recipient and the provider must sign and date the timesheet only after work is completed. One tip is to practice writing in hours and minutes on a practice timesheet and then transfer the information to an actual timesheet. Let's recap. Remember, new timesheets will be read by a computer in Chico, California. Because your timesheet is now sent to Chico, it will take up to 10 days to process timesheets and an additional 2 to 3 days for mailing. For help, call IHSS staff at 415 1-800-457-INFO, SEIU at 1-800-585-4250, or IHSS Public Authority of Marin at 415-499-1024. Remember our tip. To avoid mistakes, use a practice timesheet and transfer the information to an actual timesheet. Remember, practice is key. So where can you practice filling out timesheets? Get practice at timesheet drop-in training sessions. To find out about the next training session, please call IHSS at 415-457-INFO. You do not need an appointment, and you do not need to stay for the whole time. Or go to the following sites to get more information, watch a presentation, and see a timesheet demonstration video.